Alright boys, I hope we're all having a glorious day, okay? Today boys, we'll be checking out my top 15 games of all time, okay? I'm really excited for this one, lads. I think it's going to be a good one. I do think it's going to be a long one though, lads, okay? So if you've got some popcorn or something, then I'd probably advise you go get it, okay? Because I do think I'm going to be talking for a while. I do want to throw a couple of disclaimers out there, lads. First things first, it will only be one entry, like one series entry per thing.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Like, for example, I could only have one GTA in this list, okay? Like, I can't put several GTAs because otherwise it'll be boring as hell. So these are 15 games, all from different franchises and stuff, just to make it a bit spicy. And also, it's worth mentioning, lads, that this is my top 15, okay? This is not the all-time definitive top 15 games of all time. This is my top 15, okay? This is strictly my opinion, and my opinion could be wrong, according to you guys. And the final thing I want to jump into, lads, before we go into it, is my honorable mentions, okay? I have two honorable mentions for today that just, they were a hair out, okay? It was not much in it. I just had 15 games that I liked slightly more than these two, okay? And the first one is Metal Gear Solid 3, okay? This game is just an absolute masterpiece. This might honestly have the best boss battles in a game ever, okay? I mean, the end boss battle, like, it still blows my mind to this day.
Major, I found the end. He's dead.
What the hell happened?
Maybe it was from old age.
You mean he kicked the bucket in the middle of a battle?
Easily my favorite Metal Gear Solid game. Is just, it is an absolute masterpiece, and it's very, if it was top 20, it'd be in the list, but it's not quite there. And then the final honorable mention, lads, is going to be Portal 2, okay? Now, I don't really like puzzle games, to be honest with you, lads. I don't really like too many, but Portal 2, amazing. I could play this game all day forever. Okay then, boys, now that we've done the honorable mentions, okay, let's talk about the top 15, okay? And we will start off with a bloody good game, okay? We're going to start off with Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay then, lads, there's going to be a little bit of a story with this one, okay? I mean, pretty much all of these games are going to have a little bit of a story, okay? So I bought this game, when did I buy this game? I think I bought it pretty much when it came out, maybe like a month or two after it came out. I was super excited to bring it home, lads. I could not wait to get it in the disc drive. I popped the thing open, and I noticed it's got 2 discs. I'm like, hold on a minute, what's going on here? I've never seen anything like that, okay? But basically, you have to download the game with an extra disc. That's how big this game is. So long story short, lads, I did not have an external hard drive, okay? And I couldn't fit this bad boy on my PS4, so I had to go through and delete a ton of games. I was not happy about deleting those games, lads, because they were not games I wanted to delete, but I had to do it to play this game, and I did it. I got it downloaded, all was good. So I started playing it, lads, and I'm enjoying it. You know, I was playing through like the snow section and stuff like that, and I was having a bit of fun with it, but I wasn't like deeply in love with it. You know, I wasn't playing it every single hour of every single day. And I can't really remember like the full of it, lads, but I needed to download something on my PS4, so I was like, okay, I need to delete something. And in the end, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna delete Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm gonna buy an external hard drive, and I'll get back to it. Now, at the time, lads, I was broke as fuck. I didn't have any money, okay? So I don't know why I thought I was gonna get an external hard drive anytime soon, but so I didn't get an external hard drive, and this never really came back on my PS4. And then a couple of years later, lads, I actually did get an external hard drive. I think it was like when I had some YouTube money, like my YouTube started blowing up, and I finally had some money in my bank account, so I was like, okay, I'm buying an external hard drive, okay? And this is one of the first things I download, okay? I put Red Dead Redemption 2 on, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this game. So finally, after like years after this has been released, and everyone's saying it's like the best game ever, I finally play it. It's amazing, okay? It's an amazing game. The story might honestly be the greatest story like ever told in a video game. The characters are 11 out of 10. I will say the gameplay does get a little bit repetitive towards the end. That's why it's not like super high on my list. That's why it's one of the lower games. Towards the end, I was literally playing it for the story, and I was getting a little bit bored with the gameplay, because essentially towards the end, you're literally just like in a shooting gallery every single time. There's no variation at all. You go here, shoot guys, go home, ride back on your horse, shoot more guys. That's essentially what it devolves into it for me. So towards the end, I was literally just playing it for the story, but still an absolute masterpiece, and yeah, I absolutely love that game.
You, my friend, what do you think about women's suffrage?
Women voting?
Okay then, lads, next up we have a game that I don't think will be on too many people's all-time list, okay, and that game is MADWORLD, okay. Now this, I've got a pretty funny story about this one. So let's paint a picture for you, lads, okay. I didn't grow up with a Nintendo Wii, okay. My brother had a Nintendo Wii, I did not have one. And I can't lie to you, lads, I wasn't particularly jealous either, okay. My brother could have the Wii for all I cared. I was more than happy with the PS2. But one of the games he did have that I was a little bit jealous of was this game, okay. I was like, oh, that game looks pretty damn good. It looks really fun. But there was no way I was going to buy a Nintendo Wii for that one game, okay. It didn't look that good, at least for me. So years go by, lads, and I'm like, do you know what? I'm kind of feeling like buying a Nintendo Wii. There was a couple of games I wanted to get for it. One of the games was Mario Galaxy 2, which is kind of stuck on the Wii, and the other game was No More Heroes. And this was like a few years ago, and you could get like a Wii for, I don't know how much they are now, but back then you can get them for like 20 odd quid. They were cheap as hell. Plus you can play GameCube games on a Wii, okay, and I didn't have a GameCube, so I was like, you know what? It's 2 consoles in one. It's probably worth 20 quid. And while I'm looking at some games, I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to get this game as well, okay, because you can pick this up for like £1.50. It was so cheap, and I was like, I really want to see if this game was as good as I remembered watching my brother play it. But before I played MADWORLD, lads, I did want to try out No More Heroes, okay, because that was basically why I bought the Wii, okay, and I start playing, alright, I'm starting hacking people's heads off and stuff, and I was like, what's going on here? For some reason, in the PAL versions of No More Heroes, like, when you cut people's heads off and stuff, there's no blood effects. They took them out of the PAL versions.
This is bullshit.
You get this weird, like, grey effect instead, which was, like, really disappointing. I was like, oh, this completely ruins the game for me. I don't want to play this. So I was like, well, I kind of want to play something violent, and I was like, well, I've got this MADWORLD game, so let me play MADWORLD, fuck it. So I started playing MADWORLD, and I was playing it, and I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling it, because I just think I wanted to play No More Heroes at the time, you know? I didn't want to play MADWORLD, I was only playing it because I couldn't play No More Heroes. I very nearly put this down, lads. I nearly said, you know what, I don't want to play MADWORLD, we'll leave it, but I kind of stuck with it, and I fell in love with it, boys. I don't know, I really loved it. The first thing that really grew on me, lads, was the commentary in this game. When you're playing it, like, if you haven't played it, you're like in a game show where you have to murder people, and whilst you're doing all of that, you've got these, like, commentators, like, commentating what you're doing. They are the funniest motherfuckers I've ever heard. This is one of the funniest games I've ever played.
You know, a cockroach can live for a week without its head?
Big deal. I went through 8 years of marriage without any head.
You know what I don't get? I don't get why they call him Little Eddie when he's so fucking big.
I think it's supposed to be ironic.
What?
You know, the use of words to express something other than, and especially the opposite of, the literal meaning, usually a humorous or sardonic literary style or form.
You got beat up in school a lot, didn't you?
The other thing that really sold me on this game, lads, was the soundtrack. The soundtrack to this game is just, it's so good. It's basically like an original soundtrack, but it's all hip-hop. It is honestly one of the best soundtracks ever. I bought the soundtrack to listen to. It's that good. Also with this game, lads, it has an amazing art style. Like, it's all black and white cel-shaded, and the only colors you'll see is red. So when you're, like, cutting people open, you just see splatters of red everywhere. It's so good. I also really like the story with this game, lads. You play as this character called Jack, and I don't know, he's just kind of a badass. It's not like Quentin Tarantino levels of storytelling, but I enjoyed the story. I thought it was fun. I also really love the boss battles in this game. You know, there's some really memorable bosses in this game, and it's also one of the few Wii games that I actually like the controls for. Like, the controller on the Wii, I don't know, it's gimmicky to me. I don't really love it, and sometimes it just doesn't seem to work. With this game, it worked perfectly well. It just, you know, you slash around, you feel like you're killing people. That sounds really sadistic. I don't know, boys. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really fun. It's one that I'm going to be revisiting at some point. I played it, I think, like 2 years ago. I'm going to probably pop this in a few months. And if you do have a Wii and you haven't played this, lads, check it out, because it's a really underrated game. Okay then, lads, next up we got a game on the PS Vita, okay, and this was another big surprise to me, okay, and that is Danganronpa. Now this is one that I played very recently, lads. This is probably my most recent game that's entered this top 15 list, okay. I picked this up in November of last year. I saw they had it in stock in CEX, and I was like, okay, I'm going to CEX and I'm going to go get this, okay, because there's not many PS Vita games that I don't have, like, that I want. And this is one that I didn't really know anything about, but I just heard good things about, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go in blind, I'm going to pick this game up. So I start playing it, you know, just to see what it was about, okay, and I realized it was like a visual novel, and I was like, I've never actually played a visual novel before, so I don't even know if I'm going to like this. And literally for like a week straight, lads, I played this game all day, every day, for every hour and every moment that I had spare, okay. This game sucked me in. That sounds...
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I just really enjoyed this game, lads, you know, from start to finish. I just literally played it solid straight, and I just really got into it. And I'll just tell you quickly about the story without spoiling it. I won't spoil it for you those who haven't played it. Basically, lads, you rock up to this school, okay, and in the school, it's like super, like, high up students are all, like, good at shit. You play as, like, some regular kid who's not really that good at anything, or at least he says. But the twist is with this game, lads, is when you get to the school, the students basically are forced to murder each other. You have to solve the murders, lads, because if you don't, then all the students get killed off. I don't know. That's as vague as I can do it without spoiling it. It's an incredible story. It's super good. The art style to this game is amazing as well. It's kind of like a 2D thing, but you can kind of move it into I don't know, it's weird. And I'm pretty sure you can get this one on the Switch, lads, you know, so if you don't have a PS Vita, go grab this on the Switch. I think you can get it on the PS4 as well. If you're into visual novels, lads, give this one a go. It's really good, and I really want to get the second and the third one. I haven't got them yet. I've never seen them. But if I ever come across them, I'm picking them both up, and I think the third one's super expensive, but I'm going to buy it anyway. Okay, lads, next up on the list, we have a big nostalgia one, okay, and that is Battlefront 2. This game is literally my childhood. Now, I remember getting this one for Christmas from my uncle, okay, and at the time, I didn't have a PS2. My older brother had the PS2, and I had the PS1. So if I ever wanted to play the PS2, I had to ask my brother to play it, and me and my brother, we didn't get along at all growing up. Nowadays, we're like best friends, so we get along well now, but back then, we did not get along. We used to fight all the time. So I rarely asked to use his PS2, okay? I did ask him a couple times to play this, but most of the time he would say no. But eventually, lads, I would get my own PS2, okay? And this is one of the games that obviously I was super excited to play, okay? And I would play it, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, okay? But when I really started to enjoy this game was much, much later on. I can't remember how old I was, lads, but there was a point in my life where I was in love with Star Wars. I mean, I've always loved Star Wars, but I was obsessed with it. I used to watch, like, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I used to watch it every day after school and shit. I was just madly in love with Star Wars. I'd watch everything Star Wars. And then part of that obsession, lads, I would start playing this game, and I would play it for hours, lads. On my own or with my friends, I would play this game non-stop. I just absolutely loved it, lads, okay? I would load up either a Galactic Conquest or an instant action. I would go through the playlist, I'd add a load of maps, and I'd play it for hours. And that alone is probably enough to get this in my top 15 games of all time, okay? Like, just me falling in love with this game back in the day, playing instant action. I even had this game on PSP. I would play it on PSP as well and loved it there. But what really cemented this game in my top 15, lads, was a little game mode called Heroes vs. Villains. Now, I didn't have a clue what this was, lads, until I stumbled across it. I was playing instant action, and I was like, Heroes vs. I've never heard of that, you know? I was on Mos Eisley, and I was like, I've never seen that before. I somehow never noticed it. At the time, I was playing this with my best friend, okay, and we were just like, oh yeah, have you heard of that? No, I haven't heard of that. So I obviously load it up, Mos Eisley, Heroes vs. Villains, okay, again, not knowing anything about it, and what I see is just like, my little fucking 10-year-old brain I was probably a bit older than that, but I couldn't believe it. Basically, lads, you have all of the Sith, and you have all of the, like, the Jedi, and they just fight each other, and you do have, like, bounty hunters, and you got Han Solo and shit fighting as well. It's not just Jedis, and they just fight each other, lads, and it is the fucking coolest thing ever. You can just load up with, like, Darth Maul and just start whacking away at Obi-Wan for no reason. Mace Windu will come flying up your ass, slashing you, and then fucking Boba Fett's blasting. It's one of the coolest fucking game modes ever, okay, and I absolutely loved it, and I would play it, just that, for hours and hours, by myself or with friends. But yeah, I was just obsessed with this game when I was younger, okay? I would play it every single day, and yeah, for that alone, it's in my top 15. Okay then, lads, for the number 11th spot, we have a game that some of you guys might think is a little bit of a strange one. It's a good game, but some of you guys might think, really? You like it that much? Okay, and that game is Sleeping Dogs. Now, Sleeping Dogs, lads, was a game that fell under a lot of people's radar. I don't think a lot of people played Sleeping Dogs when it originally came out. Me, though, lads, I was straight on this, more or less, as soon as it came out. And the only reason I knew anything about it, lads, was this thing right here, okay? This is a PlayStation magazine. Now, I'm gonna pull this one out for you boys, okay? Because this brings me nostalgia right here, okay? If you can see that right there, lads, you'll see the Sleeping Dogs advertisement there.
It's so beautiful.
Might I just add, lads, this is a little bit of nostalgia here. Star Wars 1313, I remember that. That never came out. That was really disappointing. Anyway, lads, back to Sleeping Dogs, okay? I remember seeing this, and I remember seeing that artwork, and I was like, that literally looks like GTA, you know? I'm seeing on the back, there's like driving and fighting and stuff, and I just looked at that, and that alone, I was like, I'm getting this fucking game. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't look at reviews. I just saw that and said, yep, I'm fucking buying it. I don't care what it is like. I can tell I'm gonna love it. So I remember we were approaching my birthday, lads, okay? And there was only 2 games that I wanted for my birthday, okay? Obviously Sleeping Dogs, and the other one was Assassin's Creed 3. And I remember telling my mum, just get me Sleeping Dogs, please. I would like Assassin's Creed 3, but Sleeping Dogs is what I really want for my birthday. Anyway, long story short, my mum's an absolute goat, and she actually got me both of those games, so I was fucking thrilled with that. And basically, when it was my birthday, my mum would say, like, you can have your games at 6 o'clock, okay? That was like the rule, that you could have your birthday presents by 6. Now, me being the bastard that I am, okay, I sneak downstairs at about 2 o'clock, okay? It's 2 o'clock in the morning, I haven't slept a pinch, and I'm sneaking down the stairs, okay? And I had to give it, boys. I had to get sleep, but I needed to play this game. I needed to see what it was about. So yeah, I opened it up, okay, and I see Sleeping Dogs. I'm like, thank you, mum, you're a legend, okay? I put that bad boy in the disc drive, and I start playing it from 2 o'clock all the way to like 7 o'clock when I had to get ready for school. Literally just playing it straight. I fucking loved it, okay? I was like, this is GTA, but better. That was in my head. I was like, this is literally a better version of GTA. So I remember getting to school that day, and I was like, guys, I found this game, okay? It's called Sleeping Dogs, and they're all like, what the fuck is Sleeping Dogs? I'm like, I'll show you later, okay? It's GTA, but better. That's what I was telling them. I remember showing them, and they were like, okay, Michelle, this is not that good, okay? It's alright, but I was obsessed with Sleeping Dogs, lads. This is all I fucking loved it. And yeah, that became my game for like the next 2 months, lads. I would just play this game every single day, and I loved it. Now, I've talking to you guys about the nostalgia of the game. Let's actually talk about the game, okay? Because, you know, you might be thinking, okay, this is just a memory, but I've played it recently. It's still a fire-ass game. Me saying it's like GTA, but better, kind of sums it up, really. Like, for me, at least. I do actually think it's probably better than like 90% of the GTA games. Like in my opinion, I prefer the driving in Sleeping Dogs. It's very arcadey, but I personally prefer it. The fighting is definitely better in Sleeping Dogs. You'll do like some really sick ass combos and martial arts, and whereas in GTA, the fighting is pretty shit in GTA, for being honest. And the story to this game is also really good. You're like playing as like a detective who's undercover. I mean, it's a told story before, you know, you've heard it all before, but it's really well told. And the characters in this game are really good as well. Yeah, I don't know, boys, it's just like GTA. Like, it's literally a GTA clone, but it's really fucking good. If you haven't played Sleeping Dogs, you absolutely owe it to yourself.
You look like you could use a pork bun. A man who never eats pork buns is never a whole man.
Speaking of GTA, next up we have GTA 3. Okay, now this game might be my most nostalgic game ever. I remember when I was like about 5, maybe 6 years old, okay, and I would play with my little army soldiers, okay, and at this time I didn't actually hate my older brother, okay, so I would happily watch him play games, and yeah, I would just literally play with my little army soldiers and watch him play GTA 3. Then Mcjell's little tiny brain just couldn't believe what he was seeing, okay. I was seeing people get run over, I was seeing fucking people getting sniper rifled, I was seeing people get Molotov cocktails up the arse.
That shit is awesome. I mean, it's fucked up, but...
And obviously when I got a little bit older, okay, and I started to get games for myself at this point, I was really jealous, okay. I wanted to play GTA. Now, my mum had a little bit of a rule when it comes to games, okay. She didn't give a fuck what games we were playing. She'd let us play anything we liked, but her one rule was that if one of us had it, she's not buying it again, right? So my brother had GTA 3, so I wasn't getting GTA 3. The only way I was ever going to get a game like GTA 3 is if I bought it with my own money, okay? And at the time, well, we didn't, you know, if I got pocket money, then it went within 2 minutes. I'd go up the road, I'd buy a Red Bull, and that would be the end of my pocket money. I was terrible at saving. So my brother had all of the GTAs, okay? He literally had every single one of them. I think the only ones he didn't have was like GTA Liberty City Stories. I think that was like the only one he didn't have for some reason. And I think at some point I did actually buy Liberty City Stories. I can't remember when, but I'm pretty sure I did actually buy that at some point. The first GTA I ever owned, okay, was GTA 3, lads. I found this, I believe, at a car boot sale. It was either a car boot sale or it was just really, really cheap, okay? And I did actually have the money for it. So I finally was able to play this game. Like, you know, I was finally able to own it and play it, and I just loved it, okay? It was just the best thing ever, okay? I can remember almost everything about the first map of GTA 3. Like, I can literally envision the entire first map in my brain, okay? It is locked away in my psyche at this point. And also, one of the things I really love about this game, lads, is the theme song. Like, when you load up GTA 3, you got this, like, jazz song that I'm probably playing in the background right now. It's a masterpiece of music right there, because it just sets this game up so well. And yeah, this is just a game that it just lives rent-free in my head, lads. I just absolutely love every single thing about it, okay? I don't even know why I'm doing this, but I want to look at the poster, because I remember hanging this up on my wall. Look at that beautiful bad boy right there, okay? That is art, okay? That is art right there. But yeah, this is a game that I absolutely love, okay? It's maybe not the greatest GTA game, but it is my favorite purely for nostalgia. Okay, next up, lads, we have a game that was honestly a lot higher on my list of all-time games, okay? And that is The Last of Us. At one point in time, this used to be my favorite game of all time. I remember when I first played this, okay? I think I got it for my birthday. I can't remember how old I was, but I got it on the PS3 and I played through it, and I finished it just before Christmas, and I was like, that is one of the best games I've ever played. I just loved it. The story, the characters, the game, but everything about the game I loved, okay? And I remember when I beat it, I almost felt a little bit sad. I don't know if you guys experience this, lads, but when I play a really good game, sometimes I feel really sad after I beat it. I'm like, oh, that was really good. I want to play it again. So yeah, that first playthrough was really good, okay? I honestly loved it. The story, the characters. At that point, it was already, like, it was probably in my top 5 games of all time. I just loved it. Maybe like 3 or 4 years later, lads, I was really wanting to play this game, okay? I was getting cravings to play The Last of Us again. And at the time, I had the PS4, okay? And I still only had the PS3 version, and obviously, you know, the PS3 games weren't backwards compatible, so I was hunting around for my PS3 looking for it. And I remember finding all the PS3 and setting it up, okay? And I set it up, for some reason, I set it up on this really shitty TV. Like, I didn't put it on my main TV. I just found this crappy TV that I hooked it up to. I remember playing it and thinking, this looks terrible. Like, and it wasn't the game that looked terrible. It was purely the TV. All I had to do was hook my PS3 up to my good TV.
You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
This is just me being an absolute mong, okay? I'm like, oh, I need to get the remastered version, okay? I can't play this PS3 one because I'm a fucking idiot. So I remember picking up the remastered version again, playing it through on the PS4, and to be fair, I am glad I ended up getting a remastered version because I'd never actually played Left Behind before the DLC, so that was like a reason enough alone to own this. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't just put my PS3 on my good TV. That was really stupid. So yeah, I ended up playing it again, lads, and once again, like the first time I played it, I felt really sad. I was like, oh, I'm sad it's over, you know? And after that, I put this as my all-time favorite game, okay? I was like, I've never played a game twice and felt sad, okay? Normally, I play it once and sometimes feel sad, but the second time I play it, I'm like, oh, I've already experienced it. You know, it's not gonna make me sad again. This made me sad. I wanted to play it for the third time straight away. That's what I wanted to do, okay? So that's why this used to be my favorite game of all time. Since then, though, I've played it a couple more times, okay? I think I've played this maybe like four-ish times, maybe 5 times. I think 4 times I've beaten it, and I still absolutely love it, but obviously it doesn't have the same effect on me that it used to, and I've since played better games in my opinion. So yeah, I still hold it in very high regard, lads, but it's not my favorite game of all time, but it's still an absolute masterpiece. I'm sure most of you guys have played it, so I'm not going to talk about it, you know, in terms of like the breakdown of the game, but yeah, if for some reason you haven't played The Last of Us, then you definitely fucking should. Okay, next up, lads, we got a game that I did not expect to be on my all-time favorite list when I originally played it, okay, and that game is Persona 5, okay, and the reason I didn't expect this to be one of my favorite games of all time is I don't like RPGs. I hate them! I would even go as far to say that I hate almost every RPG, especially turn-based ones. I just stay well away from them because they confuse me. There was something about Persona 5 that really gripped me. I was like, I want to play that game. I don't know why. I don't like RPGs, I'm thinking, but I really want to play Persona 5. So inevitably, I do end up picking up Persona 5, and my intuition was right. I loved Persona 5, even though I don't like RPGs. And there's something about like the story and the characters of Persona and just all of the social elements that just really gripped me. I loved just going through the daily life of a student in this game, and just, I don't know, just, it was such a vibe. You'd have that absolutely jamming soundtrack in there that just, one of the best soundtracks of all time, Persona 5. It is such a good soundtrack. I still listen to it today. And even with the turn-based gameplay, I didn't even mind it, okay? I won't sit here and tell you that I loved the gameplay. It wasn't, you know, because again, I'm not really an RPG guy, so I wasn't in love with it, but I liked it. Yeah, obviously I'm holding up Persona 5 Royale right here, lads. I won't lie to you, I haven't actually played Royale. I played the base version of Persona 5. I've yet to play Royale properly. I remember picking up Persona 5 Royale, like, literally after I beat Persona 5, the fucking Royale ended up releasing. I was like, oh, I'm getting that. And I started playing it, and I was like, what am I doing? I've pretty much already just played this game, so I haven't played this yet. But I have played base Persona 5, okay, and yeah, it's a fucking masterpiece. You don't need to hear it from me. I'm sure you guys already know it. It has some of the best characters in gaming, okay? It's got an awesome story. Again, if you like RPGs, then the gameplay's amazing. And again, it's just a vibe, okay? It'll take you like 100 odd hours to complete, and you'll love every single one of those seconds playing it, okay? I loved every single second I spent with Persona 5. I would literally sit there for like 3-4 hours straight and just play it. It was such a fun time, and I just remember it so fondly. Okay, next up, lads, we have a game that, unlike Persona 5, where I wanted to sit there and play it for hours upon hours, we have a game that I didn't want to play at all, really. And that game is Silent Hill 2, lads, okay? When I played this, I didn't want to play it. I'll be honest with you. I'm a scaredy cat, okay? I don't do well with some horror games. Some horror games I'm fine with, like, I don't know, for example, I'm alright with Alien Isolation. I could sit there and play that, and it makes me scared, but I'll happily play it. But with Silent Hill, this shit gets under my skin, okay? So I don't like playing this for hours and hours and hours. I'd rather watch someone else play it, frankly. I remember when I picked this one up, lads, I remember watching a couple of YouTube videos on it, and I was like, okay, Silent Hill 2, that's, I'm gonna get that game. I'm gonna play it. It looks scary, but I'm gonna get it. I remember when it arrived, okay, I'd obviously ordered it from eBay, and I didn't want to play it, alright? I got it, and I was like, I don't want to play this. I want to play it, but I don't want to play it. I'm too scared to play it. And I won't lie to you guys, this one sat on my shelf for at least 1.5 years before I got around to playing it, okay? I was like, I wanted to play it, believe me, but I was like, I can't do it. I'm too scared. Every time I'd be like, yeah, let's play it. Let's do it, Michelle, alright? Silent Hill 2, we're gonna be brave today. And I pick it up off the shelf, and I'm like, alright, no, yeah, we'll give it a few more weeks. It went on like that for like 1.5 years. That's how scared I was to play this game. And since playing it, is it that scary? It is to me, alright? Maybe not to you guys, it was that scary. I remember when I did finally brave it out to play this, lads. I think I ordered Sifu. I think I ordered like the physical edition of Sifu, and I was waiting for that to come. I didn't get the digital version, I wanted it physically. I ordered it from Game, and they just didn't send it. I was like, well, where the fuck's my Sifu then? I don't know what to play now. And I remember I saw it on the shelf, okay, Silent Hill 2. It was looking into my soul, and I was like, I need to play it. It's time. Sifu's not here, so we're gonna play Silent Hill 2, okay? And I finally braved it out. I put it in. I start walking down. You know, like the early bit when you're walking down the woods and you hear the crackling? I was like, I don't want to play it anymore. Like, no joke, lads, I got to the well, okay, and I saved it, and I turned it off. Like, I played it for, like, 5 minutes before turning it off. Then I had a little moment with myself. I was like, McJell, come on, you can't be this much of a fucking pussy, okay? You're in your 20s, just fucking play it. So I put it back in, I start playing it again, and I get to the apartment blocks, okay, and this shit, I was this close to turning it off when I got to the apartment blocks. Like, the first thing that scared the fuck out of me was seeing Pyramid Head just standing there, menacingly.
Now I'm panicking.
Don't panic.
No, I am, because no, I need air. I need air.
Then I go into a room, come back, he's fucking gone, okay? I'm like, well, where's he gone then? Why has he done that? Then I walk into a room and I just hear this fucking whisper shit, and I was like, no fucking way am I playing this game, okay? I'm gonna turn this motherfucker off.
Alright, I gotta leave, okay?
But again, I breathed out, lads. I kept playing it, okay? And what kept me going, really, with this game was just, like, I mean, even though I was scared, I could just appreciate how good a game it was. Like, the soundtrack to this game is just, again, it is one of the best soundtracks ever in a game. It's just, I could listen to it right now. I think I've got the soundtrack CD. It's so good. The story and the characters with this game are just amazing as well. Like, it's just so uncanny and unnerving, but just really, really interesting. And obviously, when certain plot points start to unravel, and again, I won't spoil it for anyone who's played it, but when certain things happen, like, my mind was blown when I was playing this game and finding out about the story and the characters. So yeah, this is definitely one that I will be replaying, okay? I'm gonna have to get some courage to replay it, but I will definitely be replaying Silent Hill 2. It was one of the most memorable gaming experiences I've ever had. Alright then, lads, next up we have a game that I am super nostalgic about, okay, and that is Resident Evil 4. So once again, lads, we are going into story time. I know this entire video is literally just been me doing stories, but fuck it, we're doing another one. So my first experience with Resident Evil 4, lads, was actually on the Nintendo Wii of all consoles, okay? My friend had a Nintendo Wii. Me, my brother, we didn't have a Nintendo Wii, so we're watching him play this game, or not him playing it, was actually his stepdad playing it. We're all just gathered around watching him play this game. Our minds were blown. We were like, we'd never seen anything like this before, okay? We were like, holy shit, this game looks awesome. Whilst me and my brother were watching this go down, okay, we've got it in our heads that we need to play Resident Evil 4, but again, we don't have the Nintendo Wii. What we do have, though, is a PS2, so my older brother bought this game on the PS2. Now, once again, me and my brother, we didn't get along too well at this point, so he would not let me play this game, and I was super fucking jealous that he had Resident Evil 4 and I didn't. And like I was saying before, lads, my mum would not buy 2 copies of the same game. She was like if I asked my mum, can I have Resident Evil 4? She would just say, go play your brother's, he's got it. And I was like, well, he won't let me, and it would just turn into a massive argument. But eventually, my older brother would actually get a Nintendo Wii, okay, and one of the first games he got for the Nintendo Wii was Resident Evil 4 on there. So he had the PS2 version that he was selling, and I was literally, like, I was on my hands and knees, like, brother, please sell me Resident Evil 4 on the PS2. I would do anything. So he did end up selling me his copy of Resident Evil 4 on the PS2, so I could finally play this fucking game that I'd wanted to play for ages at this point. And I absolutely loved every single second of it, okay? And like I said, lads, I wasn't good with horror games, okay? I mean, this game isn't super scary anyway, but back when I was a kid, it was scary to me. But I didn't care. I loved it so much that I was playing it no matter what, okay? I loved this freaking game. So I remember getting up to the point in this game where there's like a weird scorpion guy. I don't know how to describe him, but he comes out of the ceiling and shit and just like fucking runs after you. I couldn't do it. I didn't know what to do to get past this bit, so I just kind of accepted my fate at this point. You know, we didn't have like walkthroughs back then. If you wanted to find out how to do something, you'd have to fucking look up a strategy guide or something. From that point onwards, I didn't really play Resident Evil 4, and then at some point, and I really regrettably so, I did end up selling it, and I'm really kicking myself, okay? This is not my original copy of Resident Evil 4. No! Anyway, years later, lads, I would end up playing it again on the PS4, okay? I got the PS4 version of it, okay? And I played it through, I think, last year for the first time, like, all the way through, okay? That was the first time I ever finished it. It is an absolute masterpiece, okay? It was as good as I remembered it as a kid, if not better. And obviously, recently, I did do the remake, and again, just what a fucking game. The remake is 10 out of 10, so yeah, Resident Evil 4 is undoubtedly one of my favorite games ever. Okay, lads, we are heading into the big boys, okay? This is now my top 5 games of all time, okay? So this is gonna get juicy. So kicking off the top 5 games of all time, lads, we have Batman Arkham City, okay? This game blew me away back in the day, and I've played it a lot since, and it still blows me away to this day. But yeah, in terms of story time, lads, I don't really have much of a story with Arkham City. My story comes more in the form of Arkham Asylum. I remember when I first got the PS3, okay, and one of the games that really stood out to me was Arkham Asylum, okay? And I didn't really know much about Batman. You know, in my little stupid head, I was like, Batman's for kids, I don't even want to fucking look at it. Obviously, I was ignorant to Batman because it is now one of my favorite fucking comic books and shit ever. I fucking love Batman. But what sold me on Batman Arkham Asylum at the time was the fact that it was a 15, okay? And I looked at the back cover and it was like, it said ha 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 in like green writing, and it was like the Joker, and I was like, this game looks really fucking cool. So I ended up asking for Arkham Asylum for Christmas. I got it and I was in love, okay? And that was one of the games that once again I felt sad after I beat it. I beat Arkham Asylum. I was like, oh, I'm sad that's over. And I think I ended up booting it up and just literally starting a new game straight away, and I never do that. That's how much I loved Arkham Asylum, okay? And I didn't have the money for Arkham City, which was out at the time, but I couldn't afford it.
So we don't have the capacity.
But eventually I did save up enough money, lads, and I did buy Arkham City, and basically Arkham City is just Arkham Asylum, but better. It's just everything Arkham Asylum was done better. With Arkham Asylum, it's, I wouldn't say linear, but it's obviously not open world, whereas Arkham City is open world. You can just explore how you like. I thought the story was slightly better in Arkham City. The boss battles are better in Arkham City. Like, literally everything you can think of in Arkham City was just, it was Arkham Asylum, but better. That's how I looked at it. I think it might even be, like, my second most played game of all time, okay, in terms of how many times I've beaten it, okay? There's only one more game that I've played more than that. And that game comes further on in this list, okay? But yeah, I've played it like probably like 8 times or something. I absolutely love Arkham City. It's just, it is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, and I think I might even replay it at some point. I want to replay it again. Okay then, boys and girls, next up in our list we have a game that once again I have a big old story to tell you about, and that game is Tony Hawk's Underground 2, okay? And in order to tell this story, lads, I have to repeat myself again. This was a game that my brother owned, okay? So my mum would not buy it for me. At least that's what I thought back then, okay? I didn't think my mum would buy this for me because my brother had all of the Tony Hawks. He literally had the first one, he had Pro Skater 2, he had Pro Skater 3, Pro Skater 4, etc. He had them all, okay? I could not play Tony Hawks. I was stuck playing Matt Hoffman while my brother got to play fucking Tony Hawks. I didn't know how depressing that was. Do you know how traumatic that is as a kid? But anyway, let's back onto Tony Hawks, okay? I remember walking into game, okay? And I remember this day like it was yesterday, okay? We rock up into game, okay? Little Michelle, he's walking along. So I'm looking through the PS2 section, okay? And I come across this game right here, okay? And I remember it, alright? There's a little orange sticker there and it said $7.99, okay? I'm like, my mum's not letting me have it because my brother's already got it. But for some weird reason, like, I thought that we could get away with it. I took it to my mum. I was like, Mum, can I have this game, please? And she looked at it, boys, okay? She flipped it around. And then she did this shit, alright? She was looking at it. I could see it in her face. She was like, your brother's got this, I'm sure. But she didn't question it. She just said, yeah, you can have it.
What? Was that easy?
I couldn't fucking believe it. I thought I'd gotten away with murder. When I got it home, lads, okay, I was holding it like this, okay? I was like, this is never gonna happen again. My mum's never gonna fucking fuck up like that again. I need to treasure this moment. So finally, lads, I had my hands on a Tony Hawk's game, okay? And I played it day and night. I just loved every second of it, okay? So for me, Tony Hawk's Underground 2 is my all-time favorite Tony Hawk's game, and it's my favorite franchise ever, okay? I loved all Tony Hawk's games pretty much, except for, I don't know, Pro Skater 5 and some of those shitty ones on the Wii. But I'd say all the way up to, like, American Wasteland, I think they're all fucking great, okay? I love all the Tony Hawk's games, but for me, Underground 2 is my all-time favorite, almost, you know, purely for nostalgia, but it is an amazing game as well. It has, in my opinion, the best soundtrack of all the Tony Hawk's games. Like, I love almost every song in this game. The fucking maps in this game are just, every single one of the maps is just a masterpiece. Like, you've got New Orleans, you've got Berlin, you've got Boston, you've got Australia. Like, the maps are so good. And if that's not enough already, lads, you've also got the classic mode, okay? You've got the story mode and the classic mode, alright? So you've got 2 game modes in one. Plus, you've got the secret skaters on here that are all awesome. Like, you've got freaking, you can play as fucking Steve-O on a bull, alright? What more do you want? You can play as Shrek in this game. If that doesn't sell you this game, I don't know what will. Okay then, lads, we are on to the top 3 games of all time, okay? And once again, we have a nostalgic one here, boys, okay? This is my all-time favorite PS2 game of all time. So once again, lads, we're going into story time. I don't know how long this fucking video is at this point. It's probably like 3 hours long, but we are going into story time with this one. So like I was saying before, lads, my mum would not buy the same game twice, okay? I've said that now like 6 times in this video, but the problem with that was that my brother had all the GTAs basically, okay? So I was like, well, I'm kind of fucked. I did kind of get lucky with the GTA 3, but that wasn't till much later on, okay? I didn't have GTA 3 at this point, okay? So I just thought GTAs are off the cards. I can't play GTA. But there was a little bit of a loophole, lads, okay? There was this game right here that my brother did not own, okay? And this is basically GTA, but in a school. To be honest with you, it's not really like that, but that's how I looked at that as a kid, okay? When I was a kid, I was like, this is GTA in a school. I need this game. But there was a little bit of a problem, lads, okay? I'd only just recently got the PS2 for Christmas. I needed a fucking memory card. My mum forgot to buy me a memory card for Christmas.
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
The reason this is a problem, lads, is I did actually have about 20 quid Christmas money, so I was thinking, yes, I'm gonna go buy this game right here, but I had to buy a fucking memory card before I could buy this. So we head into town, lads, okay, and I see this on the shelf in HMV for £15, okay, and I was like, I really want to buy you, but I can't, I need to buy the memory card. And I even remember the memory card I bought, okay, I didn't buy like the regular PS2 memory card. I bought like a 6 megabyte one. It had like a WWE logo on it. I don't know why I bought that one, but yeah, I loved WWE at the time, I guess, so I bought that one. And this game right here had to wait, lads, okay, I had to wait to get this, okay, and I cleaned cars, I did chores, I did lots of shit for like 2 months, okay, until I had enough for this game. And then finally, lads, I did have enough to get this game, okay, and I bought it, okay, with all that money I'd saved up, okay, and again, I loved this game when I was a kid. I played this game over and over and over and over and over again. When I first got it, I didn't really play the missions that much. I would just kind of go around and I'd throw marbles at kids and fucking shoot them with bottle rockets and stuff. But eventually, after like a couple of months of just fucking around, I got kind of bored. I was like, okay, let's actually do some missions. So eventually I start playing through those missions, lads, and again, I'm just absolutely in love with the game, okay? I'm loving the missions, I'm having an absolute blast, okay? But we do eventually get stuck. I think it was the asylum mission, if I'm not mistaken, okay? And I was playing through that with some of my friends, and I was like, how the frick can you do this? And after hours of crawling away, I would actually get past that mission as a kid, okay? And I wasn't very good at games when I was young. I'm still not great at games, but I was terrible when I was a kid. But yeah, I would get past that, lads, and I would finish it, okay? And then I was like, well, what do I do now? So I would just go back to fucking around again. Now, I did come across a slight problem with this game, lads. For some reason, I don't know why, this game would always get corrupted on my memory card, okay? You would just go on your memory card and it would say corrupted data, and it was always this game right here. Now, while that is kind of annoying, lads, it was actually kind of a blessing in disguise, okay? Because I would get the corrupted data and I would just be like, well, I need to play it again then. It would be an excuse to revisit the game, and it got corrupted often. I think I completed this game like 8 times. I'm not even joking when I was a kid, okay? It would get corrupted and I would just start playing it again, and then it would get corrupted and I would do it again, and it just become... I played this game so much, okay? This is easily my most played game. I've probably played it at least 10 times, but yeah, I hold this near and dear to my heart. This is easily one of my favorite games ever. Okay, lads, we're on to the top 2, okay? We're on to the big boys, okay? And next up, we got a game that is, I mean, it's as close to perfection as I can think of when it comes to a game, okay? And that is God of War Ragnarok. Now, I will just say it here, lads, I love almost every single God of War game, okay? I love the original, I love God of War 2, I love God of War 3, I love this, I love 2018, I love the PSP ones, I love them all, okay? The only one I haven't played is God of War Ascension. I still need to play that. I'm gonna play that this year, lads, and I'll probably talk about it on this channel, okay? But yeah, I just love all the God of Wars, okay? But Ragnarok, for me, is the ultimate God of War experience. Like, the memory that comes to mind with this game, lads, I remember, like, obviously when I just got it and I was playing it, I was loving it, but I had to do, like, a lot of YouTube stuff, you know? I didn't have time to play it, really. But finally, when I got some time to, like, properly sit down and play this game, lads, I kid you not, I think I played this game for 7 hours straight. I didn't even get up for a piss.
Damn.
I didn't even realize I'd been playing it for so long, okay? My headphones were on and I was just sucked in, okay? I was just playing the fuck out of it. And when I did that, I realized that this game was special, okay? When I checked the time and it was like 6 AM, I was like, what the fuck happened to the time with this one? It's just a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, you know, the story, the characters, the gameplay, everything about the game is just perfect in my opinion. Like, I could not change a thing about this game if I tried. The only thing I'd maybe even change about this game, just the one, and I'm thinking really hard here, this is nitpicking, I'd maybe shorten the Atreus sections a little bit. Some of the Atreus sections drag on a bit, but that is seriously nitpicking, lads, okay? If you for some reason have not played God of War Ragnarok, it is, like I said, it is a masterpiece and you need to play it. Okay then, lads, we come over to the #1 game of all time in my opinion, lads, and if you guys are super observant, you might even know what that game is, okay, because I'm wearing the t-shirt. My favorite game of all time, lads, is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, okay, or if you're me, you die a lot more than twice. So the funny thing with this game, lads, is there's no way in hell I thought this was going to be my favorite game of all time, okay? I did not think this was even going to be a game I liked. I bought this game when I was doing the second channel with McJell as well, okay, and I was doing a lot of, like, playthroughs and stuff, and I thought this game could be funny because, you know, I'll die a lot and they'll laugh, and that was kind of the plan with this game. I'll buy it, I'll rage at it, and that was that. I didn't think I'd like it. I didn't end up making a video on it, lads, for whatever reason. It just never really came to pass, so I never ended up doing that video, but it was just sat on my shelf, and I was really, really bored at this point, okay? And I was like, let me just give it a go, okay? I've bought it, I paid like 30 odd quid for it, like, let me just play it, right? So I start playing it, lads, and truth be told, I was really enjoying it, okay? I love the Japan setting, I was loving it, you know, the atmosphere of the game, it was great, but the game was beating my ass. I didn't really understand how to parry properly, lads, so I did not understand this game one bit. bit, okay, and when I got to the first boss, I forget his name now, Gyobu, is it, or something? You know, the guy on the horse, and that guy just fucked me up over and over and over again, and I said, okay, I'm done with this game, I'm not playing it again.
I don't want to play anymore.
But something was calling my name, okay, and I wanted to give it a second chance, okay, so I put it back in again. He kicks my ass again. I'm like, okay, I'm done with it. I tried to like it, I don't like it, I'm done. But once again, lads, the game was calling my name, okay, so I start looking up YouTube videos on how to play this game, and I'm like, okay, I get a bit more of an understanding of the game now, so I go back in. Gyobu's just beating my ass once again, okay, he just shitting on me. It was actually quite embarrassing. So yeah, I played one more time, lads, and just something in my brain clicked, okay, and I started to understand the game, not like fully, but I could understand the game just a little bit, and I was able to beat Gyobu. I kind of cheesed him a bit, you know, I didn't beat him properly, but I was able to beat him. From that point onwards, lads, I knew I had to beat this game, okay, I said to myself, you know, I don't care what it takes, I am gonna beat this game. So I'm playing through it, lads, and I'm cheesing all the bosses, okay, I'm looking up all of the cheese strategies on how to beat these bosses, you know, not the right way. I was looking up all the bullshit strategies to fucking beat guys in this game. It was a disgrace. But eventually, lads, I would encounter a mini-boss, and I can't remember his name, but I'm probably showing you on the screen right now, the mini-boss. This guy taught me how to play this game at least a little bit. I must have spent about 6 hours straight, like, just trying to beat this one mini-boss, okay? And you don't have to fight the mini-bosses. I think this is a skippable mini-boss. But something about this mini-boss, I wanted to beat this specific mini-boss, okay? Because he was beating my ass so badly, and it taught me to parry. It taught me to parry in this game, and you have to learn to parry in Sekiro. And once I beat that boss, lads, I started to get the hang of the game. I started to understand the, you know, the mechanics of the game. I started to learn how to parry at least a little bit. You know, I was still pretty bad at it, but I could understand it a bit. And from that point onwards, lads, I never really looked back. You know, I played it all the way through. I got to the final boss, and the final boss must have took me at least 8 hours. I kid you not. I'm really bad at games, lads, in case you don't realize. I'm not good at games, but this game is the definition of perseverance, lads, okay? I persevered with this game, and I beat that boss, okay? And it was like I just won the fucking World Cup or something by myself, you know? I just beat 11 other players on my own. It's not like that, but it felt pretty damn good. And ever since I beat it once, lads, I play this game once a year, okay? I play it every single December, so I played it last December, I played it December before, and then I played it, obviously, for the first time the December before that. And I would inevitably play this game again this December, okay? So this is a game that it's like a religious thing for me now. I play this game once a year because it's just that good. And every single time I put this game in to play it, I get a little bit better at the game, okay? I mean, the last time I played it, I was actually pretty good at the game. Like, the last time I played it, I was able to beat the final boss within, like, I don't know, 10 tries or something. So yeah, I've actually gotten okay at this game now. Yeah, in my opinion, it's the greatest game that's ever made, lads, you know? It's the most fun I've ever had playing a game. I won't lie to you guys and say that I give too much of a shit about the story. In fact, I don't think I know anything about the story. But when it comes to just strictly gameplay, this is the one for me, you know? If I was stuck on a desert island, I would take this game with me first, okay? Because I could play this game probably forever and not get bored of it. Okay then, lads, that is my top 15 games of all time, okay? I have been talking for way too fucking long, okay? I feel like I've kept you here for a while. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy that, okay? And if you guys want to tell me some of your favorite games of all time, I would gladly hear it, okay? So put that down in the comments. I want to hear what your guys' favorite games of all time are as well. But other than that, lads, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week for some more juicy content.